Shamps and giggles, history, news, views, and reviews from a black perspective.
Okay.
It's 1 in a million with a cowboy hat, though.
Yep.
Yes, it's the I just wanted to say in regards to the beating, I hear where you guys coming from. Like Carolyn, I didn't hit my children at all. And I just think this generation, they don't respond to beating. They respond to you taking their electrical stuff away from them, like their phones or computers, because they're on their phones all the time. They don't respond to beating, they respond to stuff like that. Grounding, not even grounding because they stay in the house all the time, but they're taking their stuff that they always use, like their mobile phone or computers. That is for me what would affect them more than beating. Just wanted to say that.
And also for them, take away their devices is life-changing. What do they do without a phone? And TMJ in the building. Thanks, Dion. Well on, TMJ. Good to see you. Talk the things, man. Your hand is up. Me see it.
Hi, everyone.
I
was a bit of a device mum, but I've had a conversation with my son recently, and he will tell you that I said to him, I wish I did lick him. I wish I did give him some box when he was younger, because the boy's got lyrics for days and he ain't stopped. But I'm joking, but I'm not joking. I just think
he wish you would have beat him, or you wish you would have beat him.
I wished there was one time, because he's much taller than me. There was one time I felt like I was on an obstacle course. So I jumped onto the bed just so I could jump off of it so I could slap him. I did that to him one time. And believe it or not, I'm not a violent type. But the lyrics. It was just too much for me. But I was the one. My son never got, and he will have me up for this now. If you speak to him and you tell him, what's marred his whole childhood is that I never got him a PlayStation. He got it for his 21st birthday, and I didn't him beforehand because there wasn't the consistency of behavior that I would have liked to see in somebody in order for them to get that. So he got it for his 21st birthday. And also because you have to know your children. Some children have got like addictive personality. Sorry, that noise in the background is my washing machine going.
Oh, we can't hear it.
Okay. So he's got a bit of an addictive personality. And I know that he would just be focused on that. He would be focused on it. He will be focused on it. And it would cause problems. So I didn't bother to introduce it into the house. He got it when he was an adult. Proper adult, 21.
Kudos to you. And you know what, Tim? Shug seems to agree. Shug has made mention that she mashed up her daughter's phone, told her she can't afford to buy one back. And there we are. My eldest got licked, though, the way we got beat. Okay. So Tooks had a different strategy. One of them, she took away the device. The other one got the old school licks. It's quite interesting because children, when they're older, you ask them, would you prefer to got beat or not? I mean, I accept my beating. I got licks. I did. Did I deserve it? Yeah, probably. But and there's beating, in it. And we didn't get like the curtain wire. A friend of mine on the road, curtain wire. Oh, listen, Mayu, don't ramp with your mom. You know your mom's gonna beat you, and she's gonna beat you proper. You know when you have that conversation with your friend, I can hear a phone ring. I don't know why. Whose phone might that be? Yeah, you know when you have a conversation with your friend, look, don't ramp with your mom. You know what she's capable of. Mayu, I don't know what foolishness he did. Curtain wire come out. I personally think curtain wire is a bit much. If you take the 4-pin plug, the wire for I think that's a bit much. I think communication is more important. And, I think those kind of things are extreme, but yeah, I know I got my share. Toronto, your hand is up, part things. Here we are, we're talking about.
Again, this conversation has me thinking, right? So we're all, a lot of us on this platform of a certain generation, West Caribbean parents, first generation English. We've gone ahead, we've had our children. our children have now gone ahead and had children. My granddaughter, I would not even think about beating. There would be no conversation that I would have where I would say I'm gonna beat my granddaughter. She's not made like that.
Doesn't need it.
She's
Yeah.
just not. She's just not built like that. She's not made like. If I raise the tone of my voice, her lips start tremble. Never mind. Never mind. I raise my voice, my little grandbaby's lip starts trembling. Never mind to be talking to her about me gonna beat you. Are you mad? So I'm posing the question as each generation moves forward, as we are more sophisticated, more information, da 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 da, rah 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 rah.
Mhm.
The threat of the beating, does it still have the strong hold it did for us as it would have my granddaughter? I'm not threatening to beat I would never threaten to beat my granddaughter. It would never be part of our communication because I don't need to. I just I can tone her with my voice. She gets it.
So your question, would a beating have the same consequence? The answer to that is, well, depending on the child that feels it.
Okay, good answer.
Some people don't like beating at all. They'll whatever you want. They don't beat me. You know what I mean? Some people you beat them, they just look at you. Right? So it depends on the child that receives it. If they don't need it, don't get them. As you said, if she quiver just because you raise your voice, of course you don't need it. It just needs understanding, attention. And that's what it is. The stupidity, that's why it's called stupidity, because you didn't know better. Them that you just
They were just stupid. Yeah, they need beating. Them need a licking at them head, because we never under. I have words. Them need beating.
They need a lot of understanding. Remember, the question was, if those are your children, police brought you home, what would you do? They need a lot of understanding. What brought you to that thing? I mean, wow. That's why it's such a hard one answering. What would you do as a parent? It's not a simple question. What would you do as a parent? If their kids, you see the video of them throwing that thing off, you see how close it came to killing someone. Police bring them home, they show you the video, tell you, these are the kids, your kids did that. How do you respond? Mark, I don't know if you saw the video, your hand is up, but there was a video, something happened in Westfield, the Stratford one, where the youths, they took the chair, the big chair, he could hardly lift the thing up, and literally threw it over the balcony, and it literally by inches missed 3 people. So having discussed that, the question was, if that was your child and the police brought him home, what would you do? What would your reaction be? So I don't know. Your hand is up.
Evening or no, I didn't see it because I just joined and I think we were talking about beating kids last week, and it come back again. This is the bit I heard, and I've over the years my views. It's not even like I even ever supported it. I spoke last week and I said I don't think that beating changed me. I think I'm the kind of person where it has an adverse effect, beating me for. Yeah. So the question I was going to pose is, what do we think beatings achieve? Who is it for? Yeah. And my theory about that is it's for the person who's giving out the beating. Right. That's my statement on beatings.
That's fair enough. Let me just show you this though.
Yeah.
It takes but a second. Here was it in Westfield, and
there's no way this guy's doing.
Oh no!
Mark, did you see that?
There's no way this guy's doing.
Mark.
Yeah. Play it again.
Did you? Oh, you didn't see it. Let's have a look.
There's no way this guy's doing.
This is as big as him.
Yeah.
Stories down. Non-suspecting people.
Wow.
Yeah, and then they ran away.
You know what? I'd be curious as to what this person thought they were what that was going to achieve. And I'm saying that because video games, for instance, the graphicness, I think we touched on this last week. Yeah. The kind of things that young people watch and people in general watch today compared to yesteryear. You know what? We had pirate copies of Evil Dead. We had pirate copies of Exorcist. Yeah, right. And you know, this was, if you got them films and you were able to see those films at our age, you know, that was some kind of an accomplishment. It was taboo, right? So now going forward, you look at the kinds of films that's out there, the kind of discussions or discourse that's out there in society, the kind of video games, and I was a video game player, but it was nothing like what we see now. Yeah. And I wonder whether and how these things, these changes, kind of changed young people. You know what I mean? Because I'd be curious to know what this person thought that what there was the outcome of that, and it's almost like they're detached from the reality. Do you remember James Bolger?
By the way, they weren't. Yeah, exactly. They weren't part. These kids weren't part of the reality. You know, they threw it. They didn't look to see what happened and ran.
Right, and it's interesting, right? Because that tells you something about their understanding of what the consequence might be.
They weren't interested in any consequence. They weren't interested. They're gone.
Yeah, right. But you'd think, right? It's like, okay, let's say, I don't know, throw a dart board, throw a dart at a board or something like that, and you're looking at it, you're like, okay, I know that when this thing hits this wall or whatever it is, the outcome is going to be limited. There's going to be, you know, it's going to stick in the wall or whatever it is, or a ball, you kick a ball at someone, whatever it is. But if you're going to do that and you're going to throw that thing over a balcony like that, right, and shift, then that must mean that you have an idea of what that's going to do.
Well, you don't want to get caught. You don't care what he does. Obviously, they didn't care. It's going to hurt in their mind, kids. You know, they watch movies.
Yeah.
People always bounce back. They're not thinking that someone's going to die, never come back, and they're not. Their kids don't think that far. Like the movie Adolescence, that you did the foolishness he did. He didn't think that far, and now he's in the court. He didn't think that far, did he? I don't know if you saw the movie Adolescence.
No, I'm not. I'm not seeing the movie.
Kids, when you look at them, I wish that what's his name was on Davis.
Yeah,
Manhood Academy, because he said the same thing. They don't think that far. Meaning we think so far ahead, right? Because we're grown.
Yeah.
Kids, they just don't think that far.
There is a whole thing that we're talking about now, which is about concentration and levels of concentration, like, you know, with the whole TikTok thing and whatever the other platform is, where, you know, you got people whose concentration span is like seconds. You're lucky if you can get 3 minutes out of them.
Right.
Yeah. And it says something about their thought process. So I agree with what you're saying, but I'm interested in if you're running away from something like that, then you must think there's something to be, in this case, caught for. That makes sense. Yeah. So as much as we can talk about the constant, you know, the concentration span and all of that, there is something in the intent and something about the understanding this person must have why you would run, because otherwise you're going to stay there. You know what? This thing's going to lick someone. I don't care. I'm still here. I'm waiting. In fact, you know what? Call the cops. You understand? I'm not moving.
That's being bravado and your foolishness. People are
but it says something about intent.
Yeah, but it's like going in a shop and when they teeth things, isn't it? They run.
Yeah, but we're not talking about sweets, though, are we? We're not talking.
But I mean, it's just human nature to run.
Some people don't. Some people are going to teeth your things and look to punch you in your face as well.
Didn't we see that recently? There was something that came up recently where that did happen. The person didn't run. They did it, and they wanted you to know that it. But that was a person that was for a cause. Here's just stupidity. So there's nothing in it. They just did it for the sake of doing it, and they ran.
Yeah.
They weren't standing their ground and say, "See, I told you shouldn't put that chair there or something." Because if you're going to stand your ground, you've got a reason. There was no reasoning behind what they did, so they ran. How are they going to explain that? They weren't even trying to explain. They ran. I say a whooping would be necessary because they're grown children. You know, I don't know how you're going to explain to someone who's already sort of an age where they're out and about by themselves. How's the verbal language going to communicate in a way that they're going to remember it? That's
But
why if it was my opinion, that's why I'd give him a whooping. I would
but
draw the belt. I would beat him because I would remember the level of your foolishness on this day is so high that somebody could have dead. This little whooping me is nothing in comparison to what you could have done to somebody. And if I just explain it to you, Mayu, I'm sorry, but you're not going to remember this because I've explained so many other things to you. But a whooping, which I rarely give you, yeah, let you tell somebody why your dad gave you a whooping. Yeah, because I nearly killed someone. Yeah, your dad was damn right to give you the whooping. That's my take on it. But I don't know
yeah.
what your take would be. I don't know. What would you do if it was your child? He did that level of foolishness, came home with the police, bringing him home. How would you respond?
Well, you know what? I don't know. Back to my statement earlier on. I don't know that beatings change anything. It depends. And I heard someone was saying about, I wouldn't beat my I forget her name. I wouldn't beat my
granddaughter.
You know, you look at some kids, you're like, yeah, like
Don't need it.
it's unnecessary. Yeah.
Yeah.
But as we know, this is not true in every case. And I
But
think
in this case, that's why I don't want to go off on a tangent. In this case, this here fool threw that thing off in Westfield, could have killed someone. In this case, the police bring that child is your son. He brings your son home to your door, shows you the video of what your son does. So, Dad, how do you respond?
I don't know. I think unless you can connect to the emotion of it, right? And you could argue that a beating is one way of doing that. Yeah. So the person feels something. Yeah.
But that's
As I
my
say.
take, though. That's
Yeah.
my
No,
take.
I get that.
You might
I
be make him read a book. I don't know.
No, I don't know about reading a book. There's things that there's things that the things that your child will absolutely like. My niece, I know my niece. You take her phone from her, it's on.
There you go.
Yeah, she don't need a beating. Take
Right.
her phone.
Right.
Yeah, her level of her communication, kill that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
So
so there's the answer.
I think that's the answer. But again, it's on its merits, isn't it?
There you go. Take the advice. Mr. Million is got his hand. Let's see what Mr. Million has to say. This is a challenge, it seems. Mr. Million, where you there? Lord have mercy, I hand up for a long time. We can't find you, we can't see you.
I'm a day. So, first and foremost, on the whole beating thing, son is 35, never beat him once.
Didn't need to, obviously.
Didn't need to.
Just happened. Right.
And just the idea of beating my grandson, I want to cry already.
Okay. Brilliant.
However,
this situation,
I would like to think that the things that I've installed to my son and that we are constantly installing to our grandson, that he would not have the thought of mind to do something so insanely stupid. Yeah, because for me, those young men, and I'm going to call them young men, they're not kids. Yeah,
correct.
They can have sex, they can go and earn money, they can go to the pub, possibly. They can definitely get away with it in off license and get a bottle of brandy if they really so pleased to. They're of an age where they have a thought process. I'm not going to suffer the thing and say, oh, they're kids. Yeah. Right. Now, if that was my son and he did that, I'd have to let the law take its course. I'd have to be there for him in as much of the capacity that I could be there for him. But you have made a decision. Yes, it's the wrongest decision you ever made in your life, but there are consequences to action. And that's how I bring up mine. Yeah. Right. Just like Dion said. Yeah. I remember the first time my son, he was about 7, and he was rude to me. In the bedroom, took out the Dreamcast, the Sega Mega Drive, took away his Action Men and his cars. Yeah. Took out the TV, and that boy cried for 2 days straight. He'd go to school and come in his room barren, like a desert. Just the bed. No trouble ever from my son.
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, you raised several good points. First of all, as we all hope, none of our children would be of the capacity to even think to do such levels of foolishness. But somebody had said, was it Color Queen or TMJ? No, Toronto, that kids, when they get outside and they're with their peers, they become different people. And then stupidity comes in because, oh, I did.
Not if they've taken the lessons that you've installed to them. Why has my son, 35 years old, never gone in a shop and tea for a bag of crisps? Never spitting at somebody's face. Never rude to an adult because of what we've installed him, his mum, his grandma. We've installed certain principles in them, and this is the way to live your life, son. Yeah. If you live good, people tend to live good with you. Of course, there are exceptions to the rule.
That's a
However, yeah, my son is 6'4". You've seen my son. My son is big, yeah, and he's in a position where he could be a bully just for his size. My son is the biggest, gentlest giant you could ever believe.
There you go. There you go. So
yeah, and like Toronto said, my son is 35 years old. Let me change up my voice on my big son who could thump me down. He does taekwondo. He could most probably mash me up. But let me switch and show him my darkness. He turned 2'1", blood.
In a minute, see,
because I'm still the dad.
That's the power of daddy's voice. We hear that. Thank you, Jeremy. TMJ says beatings for this situation would be too short-lived, and her hand is up. Come in, TMJ. Talk the things. He would need to be disciplined beyond measure based on what he would like to do.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that in this kind of situation, if they brought my son home, I wouldn't touch him.
Right.
I really wouldn't touch him. If this is psychological warfare now,
right,
I wouldn't do anything to him because what he would be expecting was to get a beating and a screaming and all of that, which would just be like, yeah. He can measure that, and he could prepare himself for that. He would get a curveball that he wouldn't believe. He wouldn't be able to cope for what's coming next because he wouldn't know.
This shows the different levels of parenting because, of course, a beating, if a child never normally gets a beating, because I haven't needed to beat my kid, if they never, and then one day they get a beating, it's like, oh my God, shock. If they're always being beaten, shouted, and all the rest of it, as you're saying, TMJ, well, they know.
No, I don't beat my son. That's what I'm saying. I told him I should have done it more.
Yeah,
right.
But but your third point was more interested in that you're going to let him sit there while you think about what to do.
Yeah.
So now it's the fear of what's coming because he don't know what's coming.
And that was a lesson from my dad. I would do things and I would come thinking, right, and yeah, I'll get a beating. I will settle myself to get a beating for this. And my dad would not rise to the bait. He would not say anything. He would go on for weeks and days. And I'm thinking I've got away with it. Then one day he would say, oh, and Junie, Miss Junie, the other day, when you did this, and then he would lay it down. Now, I wouldn't go that far because it would have to be, I would address it, but it would be in a way that he would not know what to expect. So it wouldn't be because
that's kind of worse, to be fair. Because I remember my daughter saying, I'd rather take a quick beating, it's finished. But when you got away and you don't know what's coming, what's going to happen,
or when you have to take things that deserve that measure, a beating is over. But that kind of thing, you could have maimed somebody, you could have killed somebody. So what kind of punishment deserves that? What kind of punishment do I need to give you for that?
Yeah. Now the thought process is punishment, So whilst you think this little youth, there's one, oh my God.
And there would be the discussions, there would be the talk, there would be the understanding of, are you aware? And if the police decides to press charges, that's your liberty gone. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah, and that's what Jemmy said. Support them. You'll be there for his son through the consequences, I guess, of going to the police station, going through the motions of what the consequences of his actions bring about. Toronto, your hand is up. Start the things. Thanks, CJ. Appreciate that. As we continue the conversation, we're going to have to skip on to some more stuff in a minute. Last comment, Toronto. Start the things.
Yeah, like I said, this whole thing's got my brain shook. So I feel for me like the paradigms of parenting has changed so drastically from when I was parenting. My son's 43. It's very different now. The phone social media. These are all things that we didn't have to deal with when I didn't have to deal with my son when I was parenting. His father was highly involved in his life. I wasn't parenting as a single woman. I was parenting with his dad. And so I feel like the shift in parenting now it's parents have to try some other strategies. But I think the core thing, and Jemmy said it doesn't begin when they're big. It starts when they're younger.
100%.
You give them something at 2 and they don't say thank you, and you take it back from them and you say, what do you say? Until they associate thank you and please and excuse me. Those are not things you teach them at 5. You start teaching them as soon as they ask for something. What do you say? And so for me, I'm shook by the paradigms of parenting in this 2025. I'm so glad someone have no picnic areas. Because it's different. It's different.
Totally. We've grown all the way through that, and now we're the parents.
Yeah.
And last word, Dion, and then we have to
Yeah,
talk about
I
this
just want to
quality.
say, I just remembered what they said to the police. They said to the police, it's not that deep. That's what they said to the police.
Right.
See, there you are. The
Yeah.
mindset of them, we got to move on, because if you try and get involved in the mindset of the youth, then you'll be struggling for a long time, I tell you. So the other news, actually, there's a lot to be said. We got Master Chef. We got to try and talk about it, but also the Air India situation, Keith. The Air India situation.
That's right, Air India situation. As everybody knows, including our listeners, the tragedy that killed everybody on board except for one survivor. It transpires part of the investigation that's been, I don't know if it's leaked or if it's been out there now, is now saying that the pilot, because you have a pilot and a co-pilot, the information has it that the pilot switched off the 2 engine fuel switches just after takeoff, and they're also saying that it's not a simple flick of a switch. You have to lift up some sort of protection cover and then flick it, and that fuel kills the fuel line to propel those 2 engines. And then when the co-pilot, they said that they can hear it. It's apparently it's part of the black box. They're saying that the co-pilot, you can hear his voice with the worry and the anguish of asking, why did you switch those switches off? And then it went quiet, and then consequences happened. So now they're looking into all of the pilot's medical records, because I don't know if it's rumor, but in the news it has said that the pilot was under a bit of pressure because he was looking after his mum. He had to look after his mum, and he was going to leave or retire. However, the question is, did he have
mental capacity,
intentions to kill himself? I don't know.
Yeah, but on a plane with all the passengers? Wait a minute. That don't make no sense. Hold on a minute. Let's just have a sneak preview here. This is reported in America, by the way. I mean, this is world news. Everybody was concerned.
Yeah.
Let's have a look what they had to say about it, because it says new report reveals key details.
Yes.
Deadly Air India crash. Let's have a listen.
Yeah.
Explosive new report on the deadly Air India flight that crashed last month. The Wall Street Journal reporting preliminary investigation has found the captain of the flight intentionally turned off the fuel to the engine as the plane took off. More than 200 people were killed just seconds later on that London-bound flight. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest on the investigation.
Growing questions surrounding Air India Flight 171, which crashed during takeoff last month, killing 260 people. The Wall Street Journal reporting multiple people familiar with U.S. officials' early assessment of evidence say it was the captain who turned off the fuel switches seconds before the Boeing 787 Dreamliner went down. In the black box recording, the first officer is heard asking the captain why he turned both switches to the cutoff position. The captain denied turning off the switches. The Wall Street Journal says the first officer panicked while the captain remained calm. We learned this weekend from a preliminary report into the crash that those fuel cutoff switches went from the run position to the cutoff position shortly after takeoff. That shut off fuel to both engines. The report says the fuel line was turned back on 10 seconds later. New images from the aftermath do show those switches firmly in the run position, but it was too late. The engines failed to regain thrust.
We know that these switches didn't get bumped. We know that it was a deliberate action where you have to actually lift the switch and move it to the other position. It's not something that can be bumped from one position to another.
The captain, 56-year-old Sumit Sabharwal, was a veteran with more than 8,000 hours of flying experience. His first officer, 32-year-old Clive Kunder, had more than 3,000 hours. The Air India CEO says every Boeing 787 aircraft operating in the airline's fleet was checked within days after the accident, and all were found fit for service. The CEO of Air India also says that this is going to be a long investigation and that no one should be jumping to conclusions. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
So there you have it. Just a crazy situation. The captain turned off the fuel supply. So, you know, when you drive your car, as we all are drivers, right? You can't turn off the fuel supply.
Only unless you turn
out of fuel and have to fill up. You cannot just turn off the fuel supply. Am I wrong?
In another way of looking at it, you could imagine yourself as you're driving your car and your fuel supply is your key, and someone just turns your key off and pulls the key out, and you in the passenger seat start panicking. What do I do? The car's on the what do I do? And then he puts the key in and turns it back on. It's too late.
It was too late.
Yes. That's my imagination. That's my thinking. Too late.
I guess the question is going to be, why would the fuel supply need to be cut off from the cockpit? Is there a reason why it needs to be cut off from the cockpit?
Well, it could be a number of things. If there was a faulty engine, maybe they want to cut it off for that particular engine and fly with the others, but not to turn off both, because that's instant disaster. You ain't going to glide.
You're not going to glide.
No.
You're not high enough to glide. They were just taking off. They need
Correct.
thrust.
Correct. So now they're looking at murder, and he meant to do it, and did he have a mental illness, something?
It's suicide.
But they're definitely saying that they heard the conversation, because they've got the black box, haven't they? So it's recorded, everything's recorded, and they can hear the co-pilot talking to the pilot.
Yeah. Well, that's the giveaway. The co-pilot asked the question, why did you shut the fuel supply?
Yeah, it is murder.
He says, I didn't do it, and obviously he did, and he turned it back on quickly.
Correct. Yeah.
But it was too late.
Too late.
And,
well, it wasn't too late for him, because he knew what he was doing. It wasn't too late for the captain, because he obviously wanted to die.
How many people on the flight? 200?
270 something.
Yeah. So the captain took his life and 200 people
with him. Correct.
I mean, selfish is you ain't got words for it. Who's worse? I mean, he's worse than that kid with the little chair in it. This guy deliberately, and you know what? Just the same thing. Those passengers knew nothing.
Yeah, didn't know what was going on in front. No,
nothing. As we do when we get on a plane, we're completely at the mercy. I say that when I get on a plane, you know, completely at the mercy of the pilot. Everybody on it, completely at the mercy of the pilot. And here's a case where the pilot used that. Well, it is power, isn't it?
Yeah, cowardly.
Yeah, and destroyed everybody. Painful.
Oh yeah, it was a plane and civilians in the building, medical
That it hit.
students in the building.
Oh right, yeah. End of the runway.
I think George wanted to say something. I'm not sure.
George.
Did he? Did you put his hand up?
You have your hand up?
No.
You got on mute. There you are.
Oh, he did.
I couldn't get my volume on, sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, I heard that he had been signed off work with mental health problems, and that he'd actually passed an A1 medical to be able to fly again.
Wow. So he passed
Yeah.
the medical. So allegedly he
passed the medical. But you know, look, people with mental health problems and people that are suicidal are the most amazing maskers out there, especially men. Okay.
Yeah. So, but hold on, mind you, George, when you say that they're the most amazing maskers, that means that these tests don't have much merit.
A lot of people, you know, look, they're highly intelligent people just to be pilots. Okay.
Yes.
So they know how to pass the test to be able to fly again.
That's very true. That's very true. No,
You know,
there's a lot of dedication, yeah.
And that's not me saying every pilot with mental health problems would do the same thing, but mental health, look, we all have mental health. It's just whether it's well or unwell at any given time. Yeah. We walk on a tightrope. It's whichever side we fall off it at any given time in the day. Yeah. Or do we fall off the right way? Do we fall off the wrong way?
Yeah. When you fall,
that's all it comes down to, really.
This guy
are we in good mental health or poor mental health right now?
Yeah. Let's look at this. Thank you, George. Look at this. In the comments here, Shug says, "Oh Lord." iPhone says it was murder straight up. It was murder. Shug setting at work. Spice. It had no mechanical or main. So there's nothing wrong with the plane. There was nothing wrong with the plane. Mental health. So the co-pilot asked him to return the switch to the original position, but he done it. It's just crazy. Not an excuse. He should have. Ain't it? No, Shugs. He should have thrown himself off a bridge by a rock if that's what he wanted to do. Land on a rock, kill himself. 200 other people. I mean, bloody hell. He served in the army. He served. The guy served in the army, so might have had issues from that. But yeah, just murder. And yeah. Look at this. You're in charge of your life. Somebody never did their job right. So who will be on the trail? So many comments coming in. Basically, the guy's a lunatic. Shouldn't be flying. But sadly, and it's been said before, there's many of them up in the air. There's many pilots up there. They've been flying for too long. They're stressed. They do have mental. Because as George, you said, we've all got mental health issues. It's whether it falls to the right or to the left. And there's still more of them out there. Go on, George. Fincher, you got to unmute.
Mute.
Unmute, George, unmute. Yeah.
But I think there's also the bit that the law of averages tells you there's going to be suicidal people that are plumbers, that are electricians. What on earth makes you think that pilots are exempt from that? Okay, that's the first thing. You know, and I don't believe he maybe took off in that plane believing he was going to do that day, but you don't know at what point he snaps. Okay, and he may have just snapped at takeoff. We don't know. We don't know what's on the other side of where he's going to land. We don't know what's going on in his life. We don't know whether he's thinking, oh my God, I'm not going to get back before my mum dies. We don't know what's going on, and we don't know at what point he snaps. So I think it's a little bit assumptuous to just assume like that he took off thinking he was going to do that and therefore he should have jumped off a bridge, because I'm not quite sure that when you're in that state of mind or not thinking whatsoever clearly, you've lost it at that moment. And I don't know at what moment. Look, he could have lost it at the moment he walks through the airport and everything just comes on top and goes, yeah man, I'm out. We don't know.
When he sat in the plane, you know what he could have done?
Exactly.
He could have turned off the fuel line. I don't know if it would work like that. Turned off the fuel lines, but there was enough fuel in the tank to get it up in the air. And then all of a sudden, there was no more and it just plummeted. I mean, I don't know how it all works, but you're right, George. What moment? He was having
Yeah.
a bad day.
We can't just assume that we know,
He
you
was
know,
having a
because we
bad
don't.
day. Yeah, a bad day in the office. His office happens
And
to
his
be
office is a plane.
Playing.
right.
Mm.
I mean, how else can you explain it? In other news, but condolences to the families and all concerned with the end. We did say we'd look up in there. So it's good to find out what happened with, because they got the flight recorder. We've spoken about that before. You know, unlike the Southend plane crash, we're still waiting to hear on that one. You know, but what we're talking about, MasterChef, Greg Wallace sacked. I mean, many people like or liked Greg Wallace, was unaware of the multiple allegations.
Yes. Multiple 83.
Multiple allegations, like good Lord. And now the man's a goner.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, sometimes you got to read between the lines. I think they wanted him out for some reason. Some of what I read with regard to those allegations is like really not. There was nothing to see there. But then again, I didn't read all of them, so I may have missed something. Let's hear what they had to say regarding Greg Wallace on Sky News as the news was breaking.
Breaking news about the TV presenter Greg Wallace. The production company behind MasterChef has published its investigation into allegations of misconduct against the TV star, specifically regarding inappropriate comments and behaviour made against its former presenter. 45 out of 83 allegations made against Greg Wallace during his time on MasterChef, including one of unwelcome physical contact, were found to have been substantiated. The vast majority of substantiated allegations related to inappropriate sexual language and humour, with 94% of the allegations related to behaviour which is said to have occurred between 2005 and 2018. The BBC says it has no plans to work with him again.
We've got statements from both Banijay, the independent production company, and the BBC. And Banijay's CEO, Patrick Holland, has said, whilst the report makes for uncomfortable reading, it also provides valuable insight to ensure that going forward, everyone working with our productions feels safe and that inappropriate behaviour is quickly and professionally dealt with. The BBC has spoken about the fact that it has sacked Greg Wallace in the light of these findings. Banijay UK and the BBC has agreed Mr. Wallace's return to MasterChef is untenable. The BBC has informed Mr. Wallace we have no plans to work with him in the future. And it goes on to talk about the fact that his behaviour falls below the values that the BBC stands for, pointing out that although the full extent of these issues were not known at the relevant time to the BBC, opportunities were missed and that they accept more could and should have been done sooner. Look, as for the fact that there is also an unbroadcast whole season of MasterChef that they filmed before these allegations even came out, they've even spoken about that and said that at this stage we're not going to make a final decision on the broadcast of that series that was filmed last year. But it is hard to see, given the weight of criticism that falls on both the BBC, Banijay and Greg Wallace over this, it's hard to see how that series can ever be broadcast.
Wow. Well, there you are. Mr. Wallace is in trouble. I mean, there's no other word. He's been sacked. Now, the allegation 45 of 83 were upheld. The allegations were from 2005 to 2018. I think there's a problem with that, because I think that stretch of time is so long. Do you imagine, like, if you're driving and you're doing something wrong in the road, and you never ever pulled up on it, even though, as they said, opportunity was missed. They always say that, don't they? So you're left, you know, the police officer pulls you over. There's an opportunity. He said, "Oh, carry on your way." So you think you're doing what you're doing. You think you're all right, and 2005 to 2018. That's 13 years, and now we're in 2025. That's 7 more years. I don't know. Smiley, you got your hand up. Come in, talk the things.
I'm going to come in, but I thought I'll let George come in first, and then I'll supersede George. So
Okay,
George,
go on then, George.
George had something to say.
George has been following along.
I'm surprised that you're actually talking about Greg Wallace, to be honest.
Wow.
Because today,
TV.
Today I saw the news that John Teroda's been sacked as well for using the most racial slur that he could have used per se.
That's
right.
And Yeah.
That's
And
his
he's
partner.
been sacked
Yeah.
as well. The guy that normally was on there with him.
Yeah. So the two of them gone.
Yeah.
MasterChef is toast, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So
And it's almost like, I wonder whether one almost covered up the other, but now we've got the real truth today.
Uh-huh.
Have you not seen that?
No. I get my news on Champs and Giggles. This is history, news, views, and reviews from a Black perspective. What happened today? Tell me.
Yeah, I saw that today.
What?
That he's been sacked as well for using the N-word.
Oh, John, yeah.
Oh, the
John
other fellow.
Turode.
Yeah. When did John Turode?
Yeah.
When did he use over racist language?
Yeah.
Australia's broadcasting that. Good Lord. When did? But
He does another show with his missus, doesn't he?
Right.
That's correct. On ITV.
And now they're talking about.
He says he doesn't
taking him
even
off of that
remember
as
the
well.
incident. Turode is denied the allegation.
Well, they never do.
Wow. So when did he use that? Well, he denied it. But and so he's been sacked. So obviously the BBC is having a good old clean up, you know. So Greg and John Turode are both gone. What's your comments, Keith? No more MasterChef.
Yeah.
Or not with them anyway. There's job opportunity for someone. Go on, sorry, Keith.
Yeah. No, for me, for the first gentleman, yeah, 83 allegations, and the rest of them were upheld. So yeah, I'm not sure why, but the problem that I had with those is that none of them was physical, or it was word of mouth sort of thing.
But he didn't touch nobody.
No, bar one. One said that he got too close, so they upheld the ish to say, yeah, you was a bit close to her, or you might put your arm around her, or
people do that. That's
he
just
did in a filming environment, and he's a presenter. So for me, I was shocked that 83 people came forward in the first place, and then
that's a lot of people.
that is a hell of a lot of people. And then
They didn't like him. He wasn't lying.
well, that's what he said. He did mention that. He said, those people don't like me, and they're white, middle class, whatever he classed them as.
Yeah.
Because his original job was, he was a barrow boy. He was a fruit and veg man from east of end of London. Yeah. So they've got that edge to them, haven't they? So, but yeah, that was a surprise. And then Don Turode, they're saying that he used the N-word out of singing that song, you know, the Gold Digger.
You're joking.
It's that old 80s track.
Yeah.
And
The
then
80s track. Gold Digger, not Jamie Foxx one.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's that one.
And Kanye West.
Yes.
He's a gold digger.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that's the one.
So
it's got the N-word in it, and they said that he used that word in that song twice. However, he might have been singing that song.
Right, I've been singing this.
He might have been singing that song because it was from that song that they picked it up from. However, John Turode said that he don't remember it. It was so long ago. He can't remember singing that or saying those words. But somewhere along the line, they managed to prove that he did say it. So they sacked him.
Somewhere.
They've upheld it and sacked him because they said that you did say it. We've obviously got the proof. So they sacked him from the BBC. However, ITV have that's the right word, no intentions to remove his show from ITV with his wife. He does a show with his chef wife as well as a partner.
Well, I didn't think you could work for BBC and ITV at the same time.
Yeah, because they're freelancers. They're freelancers. So for them, yeah, they're saying that they've got no intentions of not showing or airing his programs.
So he's keeping one job, losing the other.
Yes.
More or
Yes.
less. Well, I think a pin still needs to be juked on Greg Wallace, because for all those allegations, some point they're going to release what their findings were. You want to see what actually did he do? Because you know what? Sometimes it could just be banter between one crowd, another crowd don't like it. So if he was like the guy working on the stall down the East End, and now he's in the office with all these people with their uppity qualifications and la-di-da-di-da, and he hasn't got none of it, but yet he's doing so well. You can well see how several people would be jealous. And so the minute somebody says, well, could you tell me, has he, and they just put the stick in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So stick a pin there. John Torode, I mean, if it was just for singing Gold Digger, for crying out loud, do you know what I mean? I mean, right? I mean,
No words.
Explain that one. I mean,
yeah.
You
I
know
know
what I mean?
some of our members, probably the listeners, some of them maybe not, were saying that it's part of the lyrics of the song. So if you're singing the song,
right?
Yeah, but I don't
Right, and sometimes it does sound a bit out of character. You see white person singing a tune, and it's got nigger this, nigger that in it, and they're singing it nigger this, nigger. And in
Yeah,
your
but
mind, look,
not
that's
on TV, not on broadcasting on TV. That's another level.
no, but was he singing it whilst broadcasting on
He
TV?
must have, yeah, he must have been, must have been on one of the shows. That must have been that show in particular.
Yeah, but
And he worked with his wife.
Who played the
weren't-
tune then?
It was on BBC. He was singing it.
So who? Because I thought they vet it. So why did the tune even get played?
Well, maybe not. The song weren't played. He was just singing it because he knows that tune. Something in that show or someone cooking something must have brought that to his mind.
Wrong show for him to be singing that tune.
Yes, on BBC. And he said that he don't remember singing it or saying it.
Right.
But they
Probably not.
worked out that he said it twice.
How many years ago?
To be honest, he was a real person to our culture. Yeah, as a white man.
Who was?
He was a real person.
Who was? Which one?
See, he's up there with BBC. They're gonna find some way to bring him down.
Well, Shug, we're talking about Greg Wallace, Shug, yeah?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised that he was a Peckham man or a Croydon man or one of them man there.
East End.
Yeah.
There you go.
Greg Wallace. We're talking about Greg Wallace. Yeah, I figured they didn't like. I figured that they didn't like him. But I mean, there could be more to it. The allegation will be printed at some point.
Colour Queen. Yeah.
And then you can go through it, and we'll see what it is, what it isn't. But I think it's a thin line in this case. I think it's a thin line in this case, but it remains to be seen. Guys, our time is pretty much done. I don't know if I'm being told off. But
yeah,
we got
7 minutes. We can start wrapping up. 7 minutes.
There's a few radio stations that you wanted to give a mention to, Keith.
Yes, I will do. Yep. I can definitely do that. The radio stations, listeners. If you want to get and listen to us over the weekend or during the week even, we're on Slam Radio. Yeah, they do us on a Sunday between 10 and 12. That's Slam Radio. And then we've also got Slam Radio on a Saturday. They seem to love us so much. We're on a Saturday.
The whole weekend. Okay.
We're on 12 till 2 on a Saturday. So Saturday, 12 till 2. And on a Sunday, we're on 10 till 12. And then we're on these other radio stations that they can't get enough of us. So on a Monday, we're on blackculturalradio.com. On a Tuesday, rhythmconnection.com. On Wednesday evening, we're on rocksolidfm.co.uk. And on a Thursday evening, 6 till 8, we're on blackculturalradioagain.com.
Repeat, okay.
Yeah, repeat. And then, as I said, on Saturday, Slam Radio, but we're also on Rock Solid FM on a Saturday evening. So we're there Saturday morning on Slam Radio, and then on Saturday evening, you can catch us on Rock Solid. And on Sunday, although we're on Slam Radio again in the afternoon, we're also early in the morning between 9 and 11, we're on rhythmconnection.com. So listen, we're on every day and sometimes twice a day on two different radio stations. So we're out there.
We can be heard round the clock. Well, of course, thank everybody here for their contribution, because that's valuable. You'd be surprised what your input, when you give your input, how it's heard through our radio listeners and so on. It's just really, we really do appreciate that. Absolutely phenomenal. And by the way, I do want to say the cookout August 9th in the We Love Zooming group. There is a link at the top. There's a spreadsheet, so click on there and let us know what you're bringing. If you're bringing water, kerchief, chairs, tables, all the things are in there. But if everybody brings a little bit, then we'll have it, as you guys know, as we've done in the past. Then we will have everything that we need. Yeah, just nip over to the We Love Zooming group.
Yeah,
as we're all in there. Normally I have the link to put in there, but I can't find the link right now.
Yeah, although we got about 4 minutes left, but what I wanted to mention quickly, as we've now discussed our main topics, I'm not sure if our listeners or anyone follows the courts. There was a hearing this week in the High Court in Holborn to do with an injustice to another black man back in the 70s, early 70s, 80s. And it was predominantly to do with a corrupt British Transport police officer back in the day called Detective Sergeant Derek Ridgewell. Yeah, and what Derek he was a disgraced cop, and he accused a gentleman named a couple of gentlemen that went to prison for wrongdoing, and his name was Errol Campbell. And what it was is that Eric Campbell and Ronald D'Souza were a black man. He accused him, but what it was in the 70s, that corrupt detective and his other sergeants, they robbed an industrial estate and blamed it on Errol and another gentleman. But apparently it transpires that they both corrupted the documents. That's it. Yes.
Very, very, very sad, because although this news is coming out now,
yes,
the man, Derek, has died, isn't it? He died in 2004. Sorry, Errol Campbell.
Yes.
Died in 2004.
Yes, died thinking he was a criminal still.
Guilty man, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. When he did nothing.
No. So the courts have now quashed it, and they've apologized to his son. But his son's not having it. He said it's absolutely too late.
Yeah. He said his father's been a ruined man after that. So hold on a minute. What happens thereafter then?
Well, this is the problem.
Convictions overturned. Fair enough. What now?
Yeah. So I think that the next step is for his son to look for some sort of compensation. But I'm hoping, as we got news reporters and so on in our group, I can see TMJ's got her hand up, so she may be able to enlighten us a bit more.
Come in, TMJ.
No, I can't enlighten. I'm just asking the question. So his father's gone. He wants justice. Well, he's got to be clear of what justice looks like to him. Yeah. And then he needs to go forward with that plan, because wanting justice, what does that mean?
See, so in 2021, the evidence of this corrupt officer, Ridgewell, that's when it emerged. So people were already dead. I don't know if Ridgewell is still alive himself.
No, he died. He went to prison for his crime when they found out that he was corrupt, and he's the one that robbed the factory with his other sergeants. He went to prison, but later on he went to prison. But I'm saying unfortunate, he died of some sort of illness, serving only 2 years.
Okay, so he's dead.
Yes.
Person that, so everybody's dead. So
Yes.
what can be done now?
Well, I think it's the son is looking for some sort of recompense for what his father went through, and for the courts to now demand British Transport Police to look back at every record that Ridgewell touched
Yeah.
back in the day,
Yeah.
and get the other men exonerated for what, because they knew he was a corrupt.
By the way, if you notice a headline, it
And
says,
just need to say we are.
it says here, look, 2 more men framed. So there's obviously a few people that was falsely accused, because this guy was the police officer was a thief, and he was using his uniform to do that. We just want to say goodbye to the radio listeners. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be here. You can find us on YouTube, find us on WhatsApp, Instagram, and all the audio. I've just typed in Shams and Giggles. Lovely that you've been here. Lovely conversation. And we will be in touch again, as usual, with the next show. See you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye. But I do see hands